Okay, as we're live. Hopefully that is all true and we are all good. Um, how we doing? How are we doing? Hopefully we're doing good. Hopefully it's a good Wednesday. If it's hasn't started off being a great Wednesday, hopefully we can help you get over some of the mid-week slump and have the tail end of your week be better. Um, Yesterday, my mom had a little adventure. Um, we had not started her car since like before she went to the hospital, so her car was sitting in the drive for like a month, somewhere in there. And part of the problem was that her key gets stuck in the steering column. So something about the sensor, like putting it in park, putting the parking brake on, it doesn't like trip the whatever sensor to like release the key. And apparently this is a issue that is relatively common for her kind of car. Um, but hers is an older model, so it doesn't have like the door little shortcut where you can like flip open the little mini door and like press a button and get its release. So her car doesn't have that. Anyway, so I didn't want to start it and get the key and like have it fight with her car in the last like 4 weeks. So I didn't start it, which I should have. Anyway, she was going to go to the grocery store yesterday. Hopped in it. It started up fine. She went to the gas station first because she needed gas. She got gas. It started up fine at the gas station. She went to the grocery store, got the groceries, came back out. Car wouldn't start. So we had to call AAA, and they came out with a tow truck, and they jumped her. But the driver asked if, because she wanted to take it to the dealership and have them, one, look at the battery, but also two, like figure out how to fix the key release issue. And if they can't fix it for a reasonable price, then we're probably going to just decide to trade it in and get something new, new-ish, because we don't buy new cars. We buy gently used because it's way more economical. Anyway, so we had to go unload all her grocery bags and stuff into my car. And I followed her to the dealership rather than do the tow. Dropped it off. So she just, by the time that she fought with her car trying to get it to start, decided to call for a tow truck, then called ahead to the dealership, and then called me, and then I had to get in my car and drive over to the Publix. She just looked so very wilted in the sun. So I'm very glad that the AAA was able to get to her so quickly. But I did tell her that when she called AAA, she had to emphasize, because they always ask, like, do you feel like you're in a safe location? Which I think is a great question for them to ask, because it allows you to sort of like say no, and then they'll like find somebody quicker. Anyway, so I told her to emphasize that, like, you are a senior citizen in the heat, and she needed somebody relatively quickly. And so she did, and the person who went to go jump her or tow her was there inside of like 30 minutes, which I've had to wait like 3 hours before for AAA sometimes, when like it's just, sometimes it is just a toss up, but I'm very glad that they were able to get to her quickly. So that was our little adventure yesterday, was figuring out we had abandoned her car for too long. And then, yeah, so, oh well. Also, today is the first day back to school for my nephews in Colorado. So called them last night. It's like, I hope you have a good day tomorrow. because it's always hard to judge when to call in the mornings to catch them, because they're usually like running around getting stuff packed for school and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to throw a wrench into that kind of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, so now that I have nettered on at you about a whole bunch of stuff, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Becca is here and says, hello. Hello. Welcome. You pulled the mouse today. Focus, pay attention, handle one thing at a time, honor your perceptions. Yeah. And I would add that from my deck, the mouse is paying attention to the small details, the small things, because those things like add up. So, but you needed to hear that. Focus and pay attention, one thing at a time. Yeah. It's a good recipe for something that turns out well, right? Maz says, evening all. Hello, welcome. Monique is here and says, hi. Hello, welcome. Kara is here, used your sacred geometry deck that you discussed in your most recent video and drew the freedom card, meaning that we can only find true freedom within ourselves. Nice. Like it. Monique says, working on finishing my fanfic before the site goes on a 2-week vacation. It's a Jane Austen fanfic site. Oh, fun. Monique says, are they doing a 2-week vacation because they're like switching servers, or like because the moderators isn't going to be there? Like, do they have a reason for that? I mean, everybody deserves a vacation, but I'm just, because usually websites can sort of handle themselves unless they are undergoing maintenance or like changing servers or like maybe a whole website revamp. I don't know. Monique says, I did a strength training workout today. Ooh, focusing on the shoulders. Went between 2-pound weights and 5-pound weights for 25 minutes, which includes the warm-up and water breaks. Nice. Excellent. Yeah. Strength training becomes a lot more important than a lot of us thought. For sure. So, Mom is currently outside in the backyard. You're keeping an eye on her from the sunroom. Nice. Dad told you that your mom needs time outside. It makes her happy. Yeah, same for my mom. You just have to watch them in the heat because they tend to want to stay out past their done time. Kara says, I wish I could lift 2-pound weights for shoulder exercises. My shoulders are jacked up, and you had a serious injury to the median nerve in your left arm 9 years ago. Ooh. I wonder whether you'd be able to do resistance bands rather than weights. That would be something to talk to like maybe a physical therapist about. I don't know. Kara says, I never tell people about my workouts because they just say, yeah, so what? No, I mean, the thing about workouts is they are supposed to be able to be modified for where you are and to help you, to help strengthen, to help like warm you up, stretch your tendons, all that kind of good stuff. It's supposed to be for you to have a better, longer, healthier life. So exercise is always good, no matter what form it takes. Monique says, I should say exercise is always good until you're pushing yourself past the point of injury. So one little caveat there, a little asterisk. The site is going on vacation for the moderators because it's all fan run. Gotcha. Okay. Yes. Okay. Karma is also at school, first day of school. Hopefully Karma has a great day. I hope so. Monique says, oof, so sorry about the injury and the pain. Yeah. Matt says, meanwhile, I seem to have sun redness on my shoulders and chest because I have not been outside much at all. Oh, you got sunburnt for... Yeah. I'm just pale, and then when I go outside, I freckle and then burn. And then it peels off, and sometimes I have freckles and sometimes I don't. So my arms have the most freckles, weirdly enough. My mom gets freckles all over. Her face is just like cute little freckles everywhere. And the oldest nephew has inherited that. Um, the other two nephews have not. So you have to be extremely careful. But yes, you can use resistance bands. Okay. Yeah. Healthy in your life are oxymorons. Yeah, sometimes it feels like that for sure. You still have a sunburn from the solstice. Oof. And there's a red ring around the neck on your back, you think from 10 years. Oh, so it's like it just stays. Gotcha. And you're covered in freckles. Yeah. I don't know. Mom just gets freckles on freckles and freckles. And sometimes they fade a little bit in the wintertime. But then as soon as she gets out for the springtime and the summertime, they just come back and in full force. And then she adds more. So I don't know. I did try, because I can't remember who mentioned it, but I tried half calf. So like half decaf, half caffeinated coffee. So we'll have to see how that does for today. And yeah. Okay, we need some cats. And then we need a card. And then we need to get to work. Kara says, my left arm is darker than the rest of me and permanently spotchy since it faces the window. Yeah, on long car rides. Yeah, I have more freckles on my left side from driving than on my right. Or at least they're darker. Okay. Tuesday's kitty. Yes, Tuesday's kitty first. When the opportunity of a lifetime says, make room, I'm coming up, accept the gift that has been bestowed upon you. So there you go. The cat is asking for uppies. We call that lorry driver's arm. Yeah. And I'm sure that the truck drivers and lorry drivers have it much worse than the casual average driver. And it's so pretty. Becca's like, so pretty. So cute. And then we have we have a cat trying to solve a math problem. Sam has 5 big mackerels. Cindy has 8 sardines. Winston has enough chicken for 3 tacos. And I already have a headache and an appetite. So there is poor kitty trying to do math on the first day back of school. Looking so sad. It's so cute. So very, very cute. All right. And Monique's pulled the 2 of Swords. Okay, balance within the intelligence and communications. Air, sweet. Air? I think it's air, right? Crud. No, I have to go back and confirm because I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, Becky says, "Aw," to the second kitty. The poor kitty doing math. Poor kitty. All right, we have 25, the elephant, along with Becca's mouse. We have the elephant. So here's our elephant. Learn from the past. Although we often wish we could leave the past behind, the elephant reminds us that memory matters. We must respect the wisdom of the elders who hand down to us traditions they have shaped to express our connection to each other and the respect for the community. What has come before informs what we are experiencing today, and we must never forget our legacy of strength and dignity. The elephant appears with a message that we are to acknowledge that which came before and learn from it. All of us are memory-based creatures, and we must revisit the past to understand where we are and where we are going. The stories of events that you experienced, the stories in our collective memory, and the stories of relationships that you have had can be told many ways. Which story will you tell? The elephant is here to encourage you to make it one that stirs in you a sense of power and dignity, for you have honored yourself by choosing to learn from your past. The spirit rejoices at your willingness to learn and grow. I like it. I like it. Monique says the elephant is sinking with the Two of Swords. Right now, your version of Lizzie and Darcy have to learn from past mistakes and lay down their swords, metaphorically speaking. Nice. Diane is lurking, working, and listening. I thought you were going to do lurking, working, and twerking, but maybe later. Maybe later. Save the twerking for later. All right. So we've got the elephant for today. But I need to put it back in the box. Here we go. Mom Maggie is here. Hello, lovelies. Hello. How are you? How are your youngest and her hubby? I hope they're doing okay. And hopefully your southern crazy neighbor is behaving himself. And hopefully maybe you've gotten a little bit of rain. That would be nice. But yeah, hope you're doing well, essentially. I hope you and your fam are doing good. Diane says, hello. Maggie says, sitting and editing with the grand bean asleep on my lap. No, so cute. So cute. All right. Also, I did spend some money over the last couple days. Well, I mean, part of it I had already spent. So I spent some money on Archer and Olive, their fall release. So that's coming. It's apparently finally left Texas from wherever the warehouse is in Texas. Irving, I think. Irving, Texas, but I don't know where in Texas it is. I probably should look it up. But then I ordered some more washi tape and stickers. So, not necessarily from Archer and Olive, but so yes, now I have 3 packages coming total, I think. You were listening to the Clancy Case stream. That's the postpartum psychosis trial still? Is that the right one? Southern neighbor was complaining about selling his truck to pay his fines. Oh, boo-hoo. How terrible. He lit the world on fire and has to pay for his own actions. Oh, boo-hoo. Hopefully he won't be so stupid again. I hope not, but the fact that he's done it 3 times now or 4 times now total says that he doesn't learn. Diane wants Mom Maggie to give the grand bean a squeeze for us. I just like the baby cheeks. The baby cheeks are so cute. Okay, anyway, Kara says, I keep dealing with repressed memories coming up and I feel a lot of disgust and loathing for myself. Oh no. So is there a way that you can work at spinning those aspects of yourself in a positive manner, or focus on the growth that you have done from that time period or since that time period, dwelling more in the positive and the growth from that point rather than the loathing? I know it's hard. I know it's definitely going to be hard, but yeah. So yes, it's the postpartum psychosis. I was trying to remember what the word for postpartum was. I was like post-birth, It's not post-traumatic. But so I was looking for that partum, and I couldn't remember what it was for the first few seconds. Stacy says to Diane, that case is wild. You've been listening to recaps at 2 times speed because otherwise you get so ticked off. You've also started the Tupac case that started on Monday. I didn't know there was another Tupac case. I'm going to have to go look it up. Okay. Mom Maggie wants to know how Diane is. Are we safe from the storms? 3 times in 4 years. Okay. Yeah. Kara had to step away from paying attention to the Lindsay Clancy case. You have a strong stomach, but it gets too depressing. Yeah. Pat Brown, the criminal profiler, has some videos on YouTube about it as well. Yeah. You weren't following it. Then you kept catching TikToks that did not sound right. So you would ask the daughter, whose NICU you are in, questions for clarification. So you just gave in and started watching. Yeah. The way I said boohoo made you think I was about to sing boo-hoo-hoo, make him do the I was sort of thinking, what's her name? She was on Glee and Pitch Perfect. Anna, what's her name? She was doing, I think it was Lindsey Graham or something. She was doing an interview with other actors, and another actress was complaining about something. Like, she said something about, like, I'll never be a Disney princess. And is it Anna Kendrick? No, that's not right. What's her name? It is Anna Kendrick. Okay. And she goes, "Oh, Muffin, it's so hard to be you." I was like, kind of channeling that, but a little bit more sarcastic. Even though hers was pure sarcasm. So yeah. Mom Maggie sending hugs to Kara. Yeah. Diane sending hugs as well. I can hear you. I can imagine right now. They're more about her mental state. Yeah, the case. Yeah. Yeah. Which is like the more I hear snippets about it, the more I'm like, why did nobody listen to her? Like, it's just, but I know that there are plenty of others who are going through, who have gone and are going through the same thing. And so it really is just another one of those things that is systemically under researched, systemically under supported for women. So the Tupac case, I don't think I could, from what you've heard. Okay, I don't know enough about the Tupac case to know whether or not I'll be able to follow it closely, but yeah. Your mom took a rest in the sunroom. Nice. Then went out again. Gotcha. No storms where Diane is. Last time I looked, we had a 20 to 30% chance. Where's my phone? Still plugged in over on the bed. Hang on. I don't even know what we've got. What do we have? We have a 50% chance of rain on Friday, then a 45% chance on Saturday. I say that, and then when I click into Friday, it says chance of precipitation. It's like 25% is the highest between 6 a.m. and midnight. So, like, somehow their math just, like, I don't understand why. But they're like, yeah. And so I don't know how their percentages, they never really match up. But yeah. Yeah. So 40 to 50% chance, which is really technically only about 25 to 30% chance. Yeah. Sun is out at the moment. Nice. If you want sun, hopefully it's nice. Not okay. You're not able to switch it into positive or growth when the inner bully is on a tear. Yeah, that's hard. It's hard. It's really hard. Stacy says to Diane, I wasn't into the scene, but the first 2 days have been very interesting in terms of the opening statements and 3 of the witnesses yesterday for the trial. Yeah. Kara says, I didn't know they'd revived the Tupac case. Current Seattle police chief said he thought Kurt Cobain's death scene didn't look like a suicide. It looked staged. It's when celebrities and artists have like suspicious circumstances, but also there's times where they just want to like close it so that nobody keeps asking questions. I feel like a lot of that was easier to sweep under the rug when we didn't have as much technology and surveillance and like constant internet access than we currently have. So yeah. Mom Maggie says, the only case I'm watching right now is the one your daughters testified in. A classmate admitted at a slumber party that her dad had been essaying her and her sister since she was 8. Oh no. Oh no. Oh gosh. So your daughter had to testify as to hearing this admission at the slumber party, I'm assuming. Stacy says to Diane, I watched with Emily D. Baker, and she does have recaps if you want some of the info without spending all day watching, although today it's just a half day. Gotcha. Amanda says, hey all. Hello. Welcome. Kara says, we recently had a creeper taken into custody who was perving on little girls at school. Don't know why they let these guys out in the first place. Well, if that sort of implies that he was in for being a perv in the first place, which means he absolutely should have no business being near the school. So, yeah, that's okay. So, he was supposed to be in for life, but evidently his first parole hearing is coming up after only 6.5 years. Was he supposed to have the option of parole? I hate that. I hate that. Because anybody who harms children, in my brain, should not have the possibility of parole. Like, ever. And I know that, like, people change, people grow, forgiveness, whatever. Not for kids. Not for hurting kids. I do not have it within me, and that may be a flaw in me, but I do not have it within me to forgive someone who hurts children. That's just not. No. In my brain, you shouldn't get a second chance. That's, again, harsh, I'm sure, to some people, but just no. It would make an interesting social study that most men are on his side and most women are on hers. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The whole Clancy case just ticks you off because you were a psych major and you had postpartum depression with karma. Mild, but still had it. Yeah. Yeah. This like, huh? Face? Exactly. Yeah. Her sister had hydrocephalus and only the mentality of a 3-year-old. That makes it, again, like you should not have parole. Should not have parole. Kara says you had postpartum depression. Your son was never in danger. naturally I wasn't taking seriously. Every woman feels blues after having a baby, honey. You'll get over it. Ugh. Yeah, that's frustrating. It's very frustrating. And from what I understand, the psychosis part is even worse and is again making you feel like harming the children. And so when, from my understanding, is that Clancy said, like, I feel like I'm going to harm these kids. So, yeah, I don't know. He swore he would kill you if he ever gets out. Yeah. So no parole. Like, this should be a no-brainer. Why would this be a question? So you're saying that? So you're saying now it would totes be self-defense if he gets. I mean, Mom Maggie says to Kara, sorry you went through that. Postpartum depression is the reason that you're at your youngest house taking the grand beam for 6 to 8 hours, 3 to 4 times a week. Yeah. Well, also, like, your youngest has a lot going on at the moment. So, yeah. Which I'm sure contributed or is contributing to PPD. But yeah. Maz says, Mom, I hope your daughter and her classmates are doing the best they can. Yeah, WTF is wrong with people. Oh no, he fell on a bullet and became Coyote Kibble. What a tragic ending. So sad. Kara says to Mom Maggie, I'm glad she has you. When you came down with toxemia, your mother asked me what I did to cause it. Yikes. She wanted to blame you for everything that went wrong with you. That's not how bodies and life work. That's yikes. Yikes. I'm sorry. Mom Maggie says to Maz he was addicted to laced cannabis, detergent, and meth. Laced pot makes people evil. Yeah, that does not sound good. Not a flaw in your mind. Okay, good. I'm safe. I'm safe among my peeps. Kara says he was. Then they let him out. County always drops them in small towns like this. That's just, yeah. Okay, so the creepy perv had been let out. Yeah, see, I don't know. I just, again, like, I know that the prison system is overwhelmed, but maybe if they stop putting people who didn't deserve to be in there for nonsense charges, maybe then they could keep the ones who deserve to be in there. Diane says, your mom pretended no one said anything. Your sister figured it out and told her. Gotcha. But in your mom's defense, I don't think she was equipped to handle it. You suspect she was too as a child. Okay. Gotcha. Some people don't change. I think the kitty creepers cannot be redeemed. Yeah. You definitely keep track of the ones registered in your little town. Yeah. We have a lot of kids in the neighborhood. So yeah, need to keep an eye out. Protect the babies. Diane says to Mom Maggie, I'm so happy she has you. Yes, me too. Mom Maggie just remembers pushing through it and feeling so alone. Yeah. Man, you are Gabby. It seems like, look at the stream of my post. It's okay. It's okay. Matt says he was addicted to detergent. I think that it was cut with it. Yeah. So it may be a process to like leach more of specific chemicals out, because they used to there's a couple of like really weird things, like People used to filter like old-timey mouthwash through like bread to get the alcohol without the like mouthwash portion. And so it may be a thing like that. There's some sort of like other chemical reaction thing with like rat poison. Oh, I don't know. But again, I don't know. So, my Maggie says to Kara, I'm glad you recovered. Amanda says, I had a pretty bad depression during pregnancy, partially because of how sick you were. So did you have what's the term for like there's a term for it, for like excessive morning sickness. Everyone kept saying it'll be worth it. Wait until the baby's here. So, but that was so not helpful in the moment. Yeah. You can't stomach. You cannot stomach the people that defend, child predation. Yeah. Maybe the whole he was 20 and she was 17, or the whole, yeah. You just came from office hours in tuber school. It got your brain going. Nice. One of the reasons you never wanted a child is because from how nearly everyone talks about pregnancy and motherhood, it can be very, maybe dehumanizing isn't the word, but depersonalizing. I think it can be both, because it's, especially with the healthcare system and the current politics here in the US, as soon as you become pregnant, it's all about the baby. It's like your life as the incubator takes a very far backseat. Babies first, and then oftentimes the father's opinion comes next, and then the mother's life. And so, like, it can be very dehumanizing, I think. And you also have spent however many years of your life living as yourself, and then suddenly you are expected to just be mom. And a lot of women, I think, struggle to, after the, even during and after childbirth, struggle to recapture their own time and space and personality, because their whole existence then feels wrapped up in keeping this tiny human alive and bowing to its every wishes for blueberries and strawberries, and no, I didn't want my banana cut that way. Things like that. In the UK, baby formula is often stolen to cut with drugs. Partner worked in loss prevention in a supermarket, and they had to protect the formula. That seems like a really, really crazy. Why baby formula? Like, I can see somebody stealing baby formula to feed the babies, but I guess that's because people would look the other way if they find you catching, like, if they see you stealing formula because they think it's for a baby. So they're like, I didn't see it. I don't know. That seems weird. Your son was a surprise. You weren't supposed to be able to have kids. One of our besties' moms was generally not supposed to. She's very small, very petite. And she had pneumonia. They gave her steroids to help combat the pneumonia, and that was how she got pregnant both times. So, yeah. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened, apparently. Diane says to Maz, I've never heard of the baby cutting it with baby formula before. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so that way you can at least, the color maybe is not so different. I don't know, but that does feel weird. Yes. the excessive morning sickness. Hyperemesis gravidarium or gravidum. Gravidarum. There we go. Okay. And you lost 30 pounds in a few weeks. Oof. Oh, geez. Yikes. That is a lot of weight to lose in a few weeks. Yikes. That's scary. Diane says, when I had kids, I don't think I took the time to consider if I actually wanted kids or not. Love them to death and would do anything, but so, you do sometimes wonder. Yeah, I think a lot of parents do. Because oftentimes people have kids before they truly think it through. And sometimes that's for the best, because I guess that's how we continue our species. It bulks it out, isn't poisonous, and looks the right color. Yeah. Makes sense in terms of like, I guess. Yeah. It still seems really like, leave the baby formula for the babies. Diane says to Kara, that's amazing in terms of, I can't remember what this was. Recovering, I guess. Diane says, I spent far too long yesterday explaining that abortion includes ectopic pregnancies, miscarriages, and non-viable pregnancies. Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that there are medically necessary procedures, and it's not just like, I don't want to have a baby. It includes, the baby is dead, the baby will kill me, and will not live to see the outside, and miscarriages. Yeah. And the people that don't understand that, they do not care about you and about women. They just don't. They're like, no. Anyway, the loss of identity sounds terrifying. It does. It does. You're like, must learn not to engage. Yeah. Your eldest is autistic and never wanted children. She knows she won't be a good mother to an infant. She also has endometriosis bad. And after she turned 25, she got an ablation. Yeah. Which, great, because the logical, like, think this out. She also has a medical condition that would make it difficult. So yeah, I'm happy but kind of surprised that she found somebody who would do the ablation. Diane says the loss of identity is very real. Then throw in being an undiagnosed neurotypical. Yeah. We started the paperwork and therapy documentation before the surgery. Gotcha. Yeah. You'd have to, because otherwise it'd be such a fight going into it that that it would be difficult finding a doctor who would do it. Yeah. Diane says to Mama, you sound like such a good mom. Mama is a good mom. Yes. Kara says, I never felt that I lost my identity. I just always wished I could do better for my son. You were dealing with a raging case of complex PTSD and didn't know it, and you always felt broken. Yeah. But you did the best you could, and that was enough, which is good. Formula is so expensive, so they'll cut it with other things. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Sad, but yeah. As a child, you also didn't want to share your plushies. Formula is one of the most stolen items in retail. Yeah, it is. And yeah. Steak is another one, though, which, like, my kids would have had a very different childhood if you'd been properly diagnosed as ADHD before they grew up and moved out. Yeah, because then you'd have known about your condition and you'd have been able to find coping mechanisms and things that worked for you, medication, whatnot. Yeah, so it changes a lot. Your son made the decision that he never wants children because of all the health problems, both mentally and physically in the family. Yeah, which can also be a real factor in terms of like whether or not you want children. Yeah. You had morning sickness for 10 months. Ooh, hormones are now our friends. Hormones are now our friends. Oh gosh, you thought shampoo was the most stolen. I don't know. We could always look it up. Oh my gosh, we've been talking for 45 minutes, y'all. We've been talking for 45 minutes. Okay, I'm going to run through the comments real quick, and then we're going to get started. You make sure to include telling grands that they don't have to have kids if they don't want them when talking about their futures. Yeah. A few years ago, but the most stolen for making drugs, at least for his specific supermarket. Gotcha. Not sure about like in general. You won't keep on the abortion topic. I know people have strong feelings either way. They do. They do. Maz says, I also probably would die if I did have kids, but I also probably can't have them. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Medical things are a real issue. Yeah. You didn't learn the truth about your ADHD, autism spectrum, or complex PTSD until you were in your 50s. You were misdiagnosed with type 2 bipolar when you were 38, and you don't have it. I think bipolar and schizophrenia were definitely over assigned to women for quite a long time, and probably is still happening. Stacey says, yep, I've had 3 pregnancies, but only 2 kids. The middle one was spontaneous abortion, which you use because you want to bring awareness. Yeah. Your youngest had to defend her request to have tubes tied. She already had 4 kids. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, why do I have to explain that to you? Like in this economy, why should this even be a question? Maybe the high rate of baby formula theft is just in Colorado. I don't think it is. I don't think it is just in Colorado. You'd be curious to find out. I'm curious now too. I might have to do a little research rabbit hole. Maggie says, I might be getting a hysterectomy this year, going in next week to start the process. Okay. Yeah. Good luck with the process. You learned how not to be a mother from your own biological mother. You vowed that your daughters would never feel like you felt growing up or as an adult. Yeah. Ectopic pregnancy here. If I lived in some states today and it occurred, you would be dead. Yeah. There was no time to debate, etc. You called your family to come because they did not think you would make it through the operation. Yeah. Yeah. It's scary. You'll always remember coming to as they wheeled you into a room with family leaning against a wall. Sister made a smart arse comment and you flipped her off. Everybody laughed and said, yep, she's going to be okay. Good. Good. Mom Maggie says, I've known since I was 16 that you are a slow cycle bipolar with OCD. You put yourself in therapy when you were 15 because you knew your parents were crazy and they were taking us all with them. Crazy is catching. We got it from our parents. I like that. Yeah. All right, let's actually get to work now that we've been talking for close to an hour. It's okay. Some days we are super chatty, and that's okay. All right, let's share the screen, make it big. Okay, 1, save the document. 2, take a sip. Cheers. Monique is laughing at all of us because she was writing while everybody else was chatting, and you also moved the houseplants again. You've been productive and just keeping us on for the chatter. That's okay. All right, let's do this. So 1 was save, 2 is sip, 3 is straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back. And Diane says, Mom says to Monique, can I be you when I grow up? 4 is make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Oh, we're out of focus again. How we doing? How we doing? I hope we're doing good. Let's see if we can get back into focus. Cheese. This is a little, yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's see. Monique updated and finished your fic and is going to take a lunch break. Got a pot on the stove waiting for the water to boil. And Diane went and got some tomatoes that came from the garden and the last of the cottage cheese. I need to put cottage cheese on the grocery list. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah. Write it on a little sticky note. I still have not found, and I don't know if it exists. Okay. It says it does. Question is if I can find it anywhere. The lower fat cottage cheese, lower fat and lactose free. So, because I know I can find lactose free, but it's usually 4%, which is whole milk. So I just need to find some that is like a 2%, be like a little bit better. But whether or not the store has them is the question. Anyway. Yeah, so I know Good Culture has them, but whether or not the store stocks it is the other question. And then also whether or not anybody else has picked them out. But anyway, so we'll see. Publix is usually the best bet to find Good Culture. Although I'm not sure about Kroger sometimes has it. Walmart never has it. So anyway, how we doing? Okay, but thank you. I've written myself a little cottage cheese note, and I will make sure to take that to the kitchen to transfer it to the big list when we get done. So Moni got the pot on the stove, waiting for the water to boil. Watching a Jenny D video in the meantime. Nice. Diane started to draw, then got distracted by the scanner not working. Oh no. Are you playing with the oil pastels? Because you got oil pastels the other day, right? So have you been playing with those, or are you waiting for the weekend, or waiting till you finish whatever it is you're currently working on? Also, I really just need to pull out one of my sketchbooks and practice drawing and sketching and just getting my hand back into that. So Amanda finished page 7. Yay! Now only 7 pages to go, but lunch first. Okay, fair enough. Stacy did not write, but you had a snack. That counts for something because you got to fuel the body, fuel the brain. And you worked on cleaning up the kitchen, so you were productive. Excellent. Good job. Maz got an A5 aside of chapter plotting. Nice. Excellent. The dang duck scared the pants off Kara. Oh no. Rishi, hello, welcome. We are doing sprints and then chat breaks. And in the sprints, we are being productive. We're writing, we're cleaning, we're doing whatever it is we need to be productive about. So we are in a chat break. You assume it's a USA thing because you've never heard of Good Culture. Yeah, I think it is just a US brand, probably. Probably. My problem is I'm apparently in the 20% of people that once they have the gallbladder removed have real problems with fats, oils, and red meats, and like heavier things in terms of food. Mom's fine. She's in the 80% that are normal. Has little to no reaction to anything in terms of like, she's good to go with butter. She's good to go with just about anything. And I am sitting here having trouble. So yeah. Oh well. It had to be one of us. One of us, I'm sure, would have had it. So Kara says, I often forget to eat. Oh no, and I don't like to fix meals only for yourself. So you always commend people for taking care of themselves by eating. Well, the thing is, I do love snackage. So snackage is very good. You know, an apple and peanut butter, it's food. It works. You know, carrots and dip or like chips and salsa. Salsa is vegetable. Like technically, it's a bunch of vegetables, but yeah. So snackage. Good job. Yes, exactly. You're the only one in your house who likes cottage cheese, so you usually don't buy it. I love it. I love it. That's one of the things is like our family has always used, I shouldn't say always, but has typically in my lifetime used cottage cheese instead of ricotta in lasagna. And so like whenever we're doing lasagna, I would just like take the biggest spoon I could find and be like, Mom, can I have a spoonful? So that was generally like how I got into cottage cheese. But cottage cheese with like peaches, cottage cheese with honey, just cottage cheese by itself is delicious. On some sourdough, great. You know, spaghetti is cooking, excellent. Maz survived the duck. Nice. Diane went down a rabbit hole with oil pastels. You had to do some research. You need to share info about reading labels and color index numbers. Oh. So was the color of the stick in the label not the right one? Like, did they come out in different colors? Your neighbor's outside driving back and forth on his little red backhoe. He's always working on something. You admire that about him. Yeah. But there are some people who just need to stay busy all the time. So yeah. Although this is a writing stream, you sometimes use it to force yourself into an hour of productivity. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's writing time, it's productivity time, it's whatever. Diane says to Monique, what time should I be there for spaghetti? Can I introduce? I'm Jules. I'm the Dawdling Writer. I'm the host of this channel. So yeah, that's who I am. I live in Georgia in the US, so southern US. Diane says, I'm Diane, an artist and YouTuber from Kansas. So welcome. Cream cheese and butter on crumpets. You win. Yeah, you do win because it does sound delicious. And I can't have either the cream cheese nor the butter. And the crumpets, depending on if they're buttermilk or not. I would also struggle. And Diane says, same with the lasagna. Kara says, my son jokes that his body behaves like someone who had his gallbladder removed. He's always had issues with deep fried things or very rich food. Yeah, so he could be just sensitive to it in the first place, but yeah, my body apparently is in the 20% that does not react well after. Maz is from the UK and is currently plotting during a rewrite. The new ones you have don't have a color index number. Okay, so you can't decipher from like the number how much percentage blue, red, and cyan. No, sorry. That was not right. Cyan, magenta, and yellow are in there, essentially. So you're going to make a comparison sheet as a PDF that they can download from YouTube. Ah, okay, that's handy. That's handy. So using that specific brand. Gotcha. Ricotta is great, although it spoils more quickly than cottage cheese. Yeah, I don't know. Like, we've had ricotta, but I don't like it as much as cottage cheese. What do you do the stream for? What's your win for this? Mine is I get time to write and edit, essentially. So that, yeah, hopefully I will eventually be able to get them traditionally published or hybrid published. So, you're the only student here. No, we have we have mostly college and grad students that pop in every now and then, but we're just people. So, Matt says, Jules, you'll be happy to know the spaghetti in Welsh is pronounced spaghetti. Yes, that is great. Stacy says, aren't we all students always learning? Pretty much. Big grin, though you really should get back to writing for the second sprint. Yes, we do need to do that. Kara says, I have to stop letting myself be distracted and actually write things. You've triumphed by actually writing the first few chapters. Yay! So now you must press on to second chapters. Exactly. Yeah, so it's essentially just like co-working space, accountability buddies. That's all it is. So, okay, so they have a color index number for each color family. Okay. And then the number showing itself. So it's like PW6 is white. Okay. Titanium to be exact. Interesting. Okay. You're doing your bachelor's, still 18? Nice. Excellent. What are you studying? Matt says, okay, so this is the Welsh spelling of spaghetti. I mean, it does kind of make sense because the SP does kind of sound like an SB. Yeah, spaghetti. You're a perpetual student of life and unfortunately of yourself. But no, you're not officially a student at an institution. Yeah. Diane apologized for the joke earlier. Thought you were a friend that lived overseas. Pigment. P is pigment and PW is pigment. Is white. Gotcha. Pizza is pizza, which is kind of a phonetic alternative spelling. Yes. Fashion design. Nice. That's kind of fun. I had a friend who did printmaking, and she took a fabrics class and a weavings class, and had to figure out how to do the loom and then like design her own pattern for the loom, string it up, and do all that kind of stuff. So, but I don't think she ever did she did like how to do the repeating patterns and seamless patterns and things like that. But I don't think she ever made like a piece of wearable art. So, it's not fun yet because you're just doing the basic stuff. Yeah. The first couple of years, first 2 years are generally like get your associate's degree, get like all the basics out of the way. Yeah. Okay, I need to get us back on track. We're going to do another sprint. And let's see if I can get this to share screen. We'll go to the second sprint. So here we go. Second sprint, self-promo time for anything writing adjacent. And also don't forget to answer the poll for your main characters, whether or not they, like, what do they feel? How do they feel about long road trips? So Rishi, essentially what we're going to do is this is going to be a countdown timer, and it'll count down for the 30 minutes. And during that time, like I'll be muted, my camera may go off, and I'm just going to be working on the drafting and editing that I have pulled up for me, and everybody else is going to be working on their thing. And so at the end of the 30 minutes, we'll come back for another break. So it's just essentially like accountability time, time to focus on whatever it is that you have chosen to work on today. So if you have any homework and you have 30 minutes to spare, you could do said homework in the 30 minutes and then take a break. So it's essentially just like Pomodoro sprints. All right, here we go. 1, save your document. 2, make sure you're hydrated. Take a sip. Cheers. 3 is straighten your spine. Roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that is the end of the second sprint. We chatted a good bit today, haven't we? Because it's already 3:07. Okay, let's scroll back. Thanks, Maz, for teaching Rishi how to do the at. Okay, so here I think is the first self-promo. Kara has new book promos up on Reader's Roost, so here's the link for Reader's Roost. And here's a link to Monique's book on Amazon. My Ex is a Vampire. Check it out there. And it's also on Itch as well. Here is a self-promo for Amanda. Number one, there's 3. 1, you just published a book, so here's the Amazon link for that. 2, Amanda streams on their channel, Amanda Rowland, every Monday night, and so make sure to subscribe and check it out. Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern. And 3, Amanda also just started a secret TikTok series behind your husband's back, trying to reach 10K follows by December 11th. Ambitious, nice, I like it. Let's see, Kara was interrupting the ADHD distraction by hook, crook, or by whatever it takes. Maybe some focused music would help. You need something instrumental and ominous for an apocalyptic story. And then Maz had some recommendations. So Epic Music World Official, as well as Pieces of Eden Music, Opus Deus Music, Audio Machine, Sound of the Aviators, and Zach Hemsey. So check those out if you need some of the atmospheric, epic music to ride along to. Mom Maggie missed the break from diaper duty, and then the bath that followed was a bit messy. Andy headed off. Thanks for popping in. Monique got done with lunch and headed out. Amanda also finished the lunch break. Now you've got 7 pages to power through. And Stacy put a fresh coat of paint on your nail and then waited for them to dry. I cut mine in the last 2 days. I think it might have been Monday afternoon. They had been pretty long for me, and I had shaped them with the new nail drill that I'd gotten. But they were just too long for me. I get annoyed at them. I was going to paint them before I trimmed them, but I just got too annoyed and then just like trimmed them. So they're back to being their normal short length. I can still paint them. They just, anyway. You're having to draw maps so you know exactly where your murder victim was pushed and how much space there is. Ooh, I like the calculation in that. The can we make it as real as possible so we can't find any loopholes? Yes. Especially if you're using like a real place. So you have to figure out whether or not the real place has room. Yeah. Yeah. But your FBI agent or I guess what's UK? Is it the MI5, MI6? I don't know if that's the equivalent or not. Something like that. So your agent might be looking out going. Anyway, Mom Maggie is also headed out. Be blessed and happy writing. Same. I think we will also end the stream because we have been chatting extra chatty today and taking up our usual time. So anyway, our main characters for the poll. 70% of our main characters love long road trips. 30% don't necessarily like it, but it'll be okay. They'll live. They'll make it through. So yeah, that's how it falls. This is the murderer trying to piece his memory back. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. I kind of like that twist. Okay. But yeah, it is the MI5. Okay. We're just going to have all the agents looking out for us, right? Yeah. All right. Don't forget to save. Save. And make sure you hydrate, especially in the heat. And I will see y'all on Friday if I don't see you in the chats. All right. Bye.